Zach, you can make money slabbing your comics?
What?
Huh?
I never heard of that.
Me neither. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains. And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Roy House, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess wave. You do it too, bad on respect. And of course, there's the Cocoa Dog.
She made it out for the show. All right, guys, welcome back. It is Monday. We just got done with a long weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed your St. Patrick's Day responsibly, because the ComicGains has a brand new drop list for you. And it's Monday, and it's a special edition of the drop list. A lot of them have been special editions, but this one's extra special edition because it is How to Make Money Slabbing Your Comics Part 1. And if you want to know what Part 2 is, you'll have to watch next week. But the drop list, if you're new to the show, or it's your first time checking us out, the ComicGains crew gets together every week and we scour the internet for trending lists, hot lists, any kind of list that has to do with comics 1 year ago today. And we fast forward to today and see if those prices in comics have gone down, and then they grace the drop list from smallest drop to the largest drop in the world of that week. And if you stay to the very end of the show, you will get the Slab Master Zach's expert opinion on which slabs you should pick up or throw in the dumpster. And today we thought it was extra special because a bunch of the books on the list today are fairly inexpensive in the raw format.
Yes.
But some of them could garnish you a little bit of cheddar cheese.
A little bit of premium.
Yeah, if they're slabbed in possibly the 9.8 fashion, which is maybe a good way to make a little money on some slabbing your books.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Absolutely. But before we get into any of that, 'cause I've been talking a lot, and when I do, Zach gets thirsty for some reason. I don't know. When I talk, he gets thirsty. That's kind of weird, though, but it works that way.
Yes. So, I'm going to open up real quick, but then I'm going to show you. It's going to be a Truly's Hibiscus. Whoa, it has alcohol in it.
Margarita.
What's 5.3%? They're trying to get more accurate with the numbers. It's a Strawberry Hibiscus, Margarita style.
It might be good for you. I think hibiscus is good for you.
Hibiscus is probably very good for you.
Right? Princess likes hibiscus. She's not bad. She's like, no.
Actually, it's not too bad.
Not too bad?
Not too bad. You put this over ice, it'd be even better.
You know what else is even better? Coming to hang out with us on Whatnot this weekend, guys. Princess will be hosting a show this weekend, so make sure to check her out. Dollar starts, 30-second auctions, mystery polls. It's going to be amazing. And coming up real soon, Whatnot is having its first ever con. And actually, at the ComicGains crew, Adam and Zach will be on that con.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We got a spot, and there'll be extra cool stuff. They're allowing us to give away extra things.
Send it.
You won't know unless you show up, so come hang out. All right, guys, let's get into the drop list of the week and how to make money slabbing those comic books. Do you like saying comic books or just books? You like saying books.
Books, comic books.
Comic
It
books.
depends on the situation of the conversation.
That's true. That's true. Number 5 on the list, we got a repeat offender, Star Wars, Darth Vader, issue number 6, volume 2, guys. Volume 2, 2017, Francisco Matina and Charles Soule. Great cover. Look at this. I think this book's probably actually worth more because of how good the cover is on this book, as opposed to, there's some good stuff going on inside, but the cover is extra special. If you guys didn't know, volume 1, written by Karen Gillan, super hot. A lot of really good stuff came out of there. Dr. Aphra and many other things. Well, volume 2 did a great job as well. Charles Soule took over the writing for the second series. And if you guys are unfamiliar with that name, he is the creator of 8 Billion Genies as well. So we know the dude can write. He's also currently writing a lot of the Star Wars High Republic stuff. Okay. So he's kind of, a lot of those other original creators have taken a step back. Charles is still in the forefront and kind of overseeing a lot of things that have been going on with just the regular Star Wars day to day in 2024. This book is the first full appearance of the Grand Inquisitor, who is the leader of a group of Jedi hunters that is overseen by good old Darth Vader. And it is the first appearance of the Quisitorius, which is a group of people that the Grand Inquisitor oversees that go by the name of sister and brother with numbers attached to it, depending on which person they are in the order, in the Inquisitorius, so to speak. The Grand Inquisitor is the leader, and you got to see him on the Rebels cartoon, which you guys all know I'm a huge fan of that cartoon. It's my favorite. The actor Jason Isaac did an amazing voice role in that. He was kind of the main bad guy of season one for that show. If you don't know Jason Isaac, he played one of the villains in Harry Potter, as well as like the Patriot. So really good villain actor. And obviously this book got hot a couple years ago when we got the news that he was actually going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, which was going to be played by Rupert Fiend, who a lot of people agree didn't do a very good job. And he actually came out and said he didn't even like watch the Rebels cartoon to get any idea of like how to play the character similar to the original voice actor, which I thought was a huge no, which I'm kind of glad they sort of pretend killed him on the show and then didn't use him the rest of the time because he kind of sucked. He looked terrible. The actor did a bad job. Overall, it was bad. Well, last year, we had Ahsoka come out, and in the preview, we got to see a character that looked like the eighth brother. I think they called him the eighth brother, and his first appearance was in this comic book as well. That sort of became like a bust later on. I think he was like an undead sort of like zombie, steam zombie inside there. So no big deal in that one. And this book has kind of gone back down a little bit more compared to what it used to be. It was well above $100 in a raw book. Nowhere even near that now. I'm not even sure if a 9/8's worth that much. Zach will give you more information on that as well. Keep in mind though, there's a variant cover for this book that I didn't even know it has like Darth Sidious on the cover, and it's not worth anything. So maybe don't get confused by that one. But definitely the cover, Matina's cover on this book, gives it that extra value, I think. Makes it the extra cool.
We were in court going for $1 million lawsuit a year ago. Kind of, not really. But for a CGC 9.8, it was going for $110. Now it just became kangaroo court. Selling for $100 in the 9.8. Not big of a drop, but not bad. Range is interesting. Range is $80 to $222.
Ooh.
It dropped real quick. Average sales 115 is a 9% drop. You can buy this book raw, near mint condition for $20. So combine that with the grading fee is about, I'd say $30, I think.
Yeah.
About $30, so $50 on. So potentially could, if you sold it to your neighbor, you could double your money.
I'd buy that book.
I'd buy that book, yeah. So, there's 811 total graded. 447 of them are CGC 9.8. That's 55% of total graded. So that kind of explains why there's so much of a supply and not as much of a demand for this book.
Not that sweet spot, right?
Not that sweet spot, no. So, not a bad book. I probably steer clear. You can make a little bit of money on this, so I would consider it. But at the same time, there are other books on this list that you should consider even more.
Even more?
Even more.
I will say, on a side note, I really did enjoy the character arc of the Grand Inquisitor in the Rebels, where after he was killed, spoiler, his spirit did kind of come back as like a helper to Kanan. So it actually like helped him fight off some of the other guys later on, which was kind of interesting. Because he actually was one of the only Inquisitors that was a full-fledged Jedi before being turned to the dark side. So it was kind of wouldn't be mad if they did a little, beginning story on this. A little prequel action. Prequels turn out. Not so good. Anyway, number 4 on the list. Let's talk about Avengers. The Children Crusade, issue number 1, 2010, Jim Chung and Alan Heinberg. And we don't have cover A of issue 1, but we do have the second print. We'll get into that because that's an interesting one as well. Princess will show you the second print one a little later. This is the same creative team that did the Young Avengers book. So Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung worked on that one together. This is kind of like a follow-up sequel. A couple other things happen in between. Dark Young Avengers and stuff happens in between this. Some of that Young Avengers Presents. But this kind of follows things up. It's a 9-issue series that follows Billy, Wiccan, and Tommy Speed as they search for their mother, the Scarlet Witch, after the events of House of M, and specifically takes place after the Avengers Disassembled run. And other than that, there's not a lot of like first appearances or first meetups in this. It's just flat out a good story. From what I've heard from many people around the community, everybody highly, highly respects this book because the story flows really well, and Scarlet Witch is missing after House of M, so the boys and the rest of the Young Avengers are kind of like on this mission to find her, and it leads them to a lot of other places like Doctor Doom, Hawkeye, all kinds of people show up, and it just flows really, really well. And yeah, big reason last year, and I think 2 years before that as well, they've had multiple accounts that the Marvel Studios would like to adapt this into some sort of TV show or movie, considering we have both the characters, Billy and Tommy, right now, and they're slowly like aging with us, I guess, as we're watching them live. So it would make perfect sense. Scarlet Witch just went on that crazy kill fest in the Doctor Strange movie, and we didn't officially get to see what happened to her. So in all accounts, she is missing, and we have Billy and Tommy, which could go searching for her, as well as the couple other of the Young Avengers. I know Kate Bishop's is rolling around somewhere, so she could always jump in with them and go find them. Keep in mind, there's a lot of bolos on this one as well. There is a 1 in 100 partial sketch cover, which is worth quite a bit. There's a second print wraparound cover, which is really cool. Especially cool because it's only limited to about 3,000 copies, so no one bought this one. There is a wraparound cover for each issue, too, so keep that in mind if you're trying to collect the whole set. There's also, this is kind of the controversial one, the issue 9, which is the final issue of the series. The mayor of Rio de Janeiro actually had this book censored because it has one of the first like homosexual kisses between Wiccan and Hulkling in this issue. So when they did the trade paperback released in his country, which he had that portion of it censored, which has driven up the price for number 9 as well. Kind of a cool thing to look out for. And I know it's not either of those books, but Princess will tell you that issue number 3 has a variant cover done by Arthur Adams of Scarlet Witch, which is pretty expensive. A really, really beautiful cover. More importantly, though, it's time to pick up those children. Wait.
Well, they were the apple of my eye a year ago at $75 for a CDC 9.8. Now, Apple has rotted at $65. Range, 65 to 75, average sale $72. That's a 13% drop. You can buy this raw for $8. So once again, do the math. This would be under the halfway mark. You'd be spending more than what you get back if you were to sell this to your neighbor. You don't want to do that. You don't want to you want to at least get double.
Maybe keep this one raw, right?
Keep this one raw. If you want to get it graded, you have to have a signature on it. Preferably someone that worked on the book. Or maybe one of the voice actors or one of the actors and all that kind of stuff. There's 62 total graded, not very many. 41 of them are 9.8. That's 66% of total graded. This book has potential, but it's going to be a long time to see significant amount of gains, because this book, as far as I know, has never sold above 150, as far as I know. So there's other books again on this list that you might want to go after.
We recommend, though, read this one. It's a good read. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, let's go back to the DC universe. We're touching on everything today. We got Batman issue number 6, volume 2, 2012. This is the Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, amazing run. I think most people would agree this is a pretty fantastic Batman run. And this is first full team appearance of the Court of Owls. You can see this awesome cover on there. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the first arc that they do for this new 52 run done by Scott Snyder. They have a bunch of other arcs that go along, but I think everyone would agree this is the best arc. The first arc is the best arc. And if you're unfamiliar with New 52, DC likes to do this thing where they reboot their continuity every so often. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis. Well, they did this cool thing called Flashpoint, which I think we all just saw kind of a not okay movie. Okay movie on that.
Okay book, not so good movie.
So they did Flashpoint. At the end of the Flashpoint series, they rebooted everything with the New 52 series, which I think, for all intents and purposes, was really successful for DC. A lot of people went out and bought a lot of the stuff that was going on. So basically kicked everybody off to their beginning. You know, everyone was at the starting point. Like Batman had only been around, I think, for 5 years at this point in his continuity. So he'd only been running around as Batman for about 5 years. They go back and do 0 year a little bit after this, so you get the even earlier point from that. So he's still kind of a little new to the game. And they kicked us off right away with the Court of Owls, which up until issue 6, there's a bunch of cameo appearances of them. And they're kind of like this underground group that kind of runs the underworld. They do a lot of torturing. And even in Bruce Wayne's past, his like great-grandfather, like Alan Wayne, is actually like tortured by them. And you even kind of learn that there's even a connection to Joe Chill, who's the person who killed his parents, might possibly be connected to the Court of Owls as well. Anyways, this was very, very well received storyline. I think everyone loved it. You get a cool character like Talon, who works for the Court of Owls, who is pretty BA. A lot of awesome stuff happens. Well, a lot of people expected this to be the next step in the Matt Reeves Batman storyline. I don't know if that's going to happen. It seemed like that was where they were headed, but then we got all that Hush information, and I kind of don't want them to put them together. I'd rather just get a Hush story and then get a Court of Owls stories, or get a Court of Owls stories and then get a Hush story. I don't really care the order, just as long as they don't mix them. I prefer them not to be mixed. And I think it would make a fantastic trilogy for the series if they went ended on a trilogy. The other aspect is I think we've pretty much been guaranteed that the DCU will have a different Batman. So the Robert Pattinson Batman will only be in the Batman universe by Matt Reeves, and the regular universe will get a different Batman. And there's a lot of speculation on who that Batman could be. The front runner right now, and I know this will surprise Zach, is Alan Richardson from Reacher, is actually the front runner to play Batman. People like the way he played Batman, or played Reacher so well. A lot of people want him to be the new Bruce Wayne because of how big and beefy he is. I don't know. Maybe. I know Jensen Ackles is on the list, as well as a bunch of other people. There's a lot of lists of people, but it's hard to say if you want him to like already be old so that they, makes more sense for him next to a Robin. I don't know. Could go either way. Leave a comment down below who you would like to play Batman in the new DCU. I could go any way on this one. I got a Bolo report as well. Keep an eye out for the 1 in 25 Gary Frank. Cool looking book. Definitely worth more than the regular cover. There's a 1 in 200 sketch cover of this one by Capullo. Same cover, but in the sketch variant. I think it's criminally undervalued for a 1 in 200. I don't even think it's over $150 raw, which is pretty insane. And there's a second print version of this, which has the red background, which is worth more than the first print. And there's a combo pack, right, Zach? We've seen the combo pack before.
That's a 3-pack book, and this book is in there.
Yeah, you got to grab all those if you're a big fan. Anyway, more importantly, though, the money value on this one. This might be a good one to get slabbed, right? Yeah. Or not?
Could be. We'll get into it in a second. Batman says, it was going good a year ago. Crime was low. Crime was down. For CDC 9.8, but I was trying to do the bad move. It didn't work. CDC 9.8, $300. I'm Batman. $300 now. You know what? You're just off key. You can't make sense of what he's saying. Kind of like me. $200 you can buy it right now for CDC 9.8. Range $200 to $450.
Whoa.
Average sale is $304. It's a 33% drop. You can buy this raw cover A for $35. So that you could make a little bit of extra money on this one. Double that for the grading slab fees. Hopefully you get a 9.8. You can over double your money. So that's pretty nice. There's 1,164 total graded. 345 of them are CGC 9.8. That's 30% of total graded. So this one is a little bit harder to get a 9.8 than other books on this list. So be wise about what raw book you buy, and you can get those gains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this one's pretty decent. This one's
maybe a money-making possibility for you guys. We all like making money, right? Well, like some people might not. Coco doesn't like making money for some reason.
Love making money.
All right, guys. Number 2 on the list, we got Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 116. Definitely a repeat offender on the drop list. Has been here before, will probably be here again. 1986, Rich Buckler and Peter David. And this was kind of a weird time in Spider-Man comic history where don't want to speak for everybody, but a lot of people would agree that the Peter David Spectacular Spider-Man run was written a bit better than the Amazing Spider-Man run at the time. People liked this series and where it was going a lot more than they liked Amazing Spider-Man until a little bit of writing changed closer to the issue 300, I think, right? Would have been that time. But this is the first full appearance of the Foreigner, who is Silver Sable's ex-husband. And kind of an interesting book. Apparently, like, in the comics, Foreigner was, I don't know if I'd say a popular character, but a respected character by the other villains, so to speak, because Sabretooth in this book is actually like trying to kill Spider-Man to impress the Foreigner for some reason. And Silver Sable has always been an interesting character to me as a younger boy. I enjoyed the way that she looked. The more you read her, I feel like I less enjoy her. I'm not sure. I don't know, like, when I've read Silver Sable, like, she doesn't really have any powers. She seems to be kind of like a female version of Nick Fury. Like, she's very good at leading a team, but she's also a mercenary, so she's willing to, like, take on a job of a villain sometimes or of a hero. It just kind of depends on where the money lands for her loyalties to fall. And so she's kind of interesting, but at the same time, I don't really care for Silver Sable that much. I'm much more of a Black Cat person, which, speaking of, she is in this book. It is the story title for this book is called 102 Uses for a Dead Cat. And at this point, Felicia actually loses her luck powers. There is a good period of time where Felicia doesn't have any powers, and for some reason she's still running around in her costume, which seems very dangerous for her, but she's somewhat acrobatic, I think. She's got some sharp claws. She could scratch people. But like I said, Sabretooth was trying to impress Foreigner by fighting Spider-Man to kill him. And I don't know if this is 100%, but in my research on this may be the first battle between Spider-Man and Sabretooth, as well as a cool black costume cover on this one. Well, why is Foreigner important? Last year, Deadline reported that they casted Christopher Abbott to play the Foreigner in the upcoming Kraven movie. I don't think anybody cares about that anymore as much as I don't know. I have not been excited about the Kraven movie at all. Maybe even less after the Madam Web movie came out. If they even put the movie, I mean, I'm sure they're going to put it out, but I don't know. It's an interesting book. I like the book. I don't like it for its movie spec, but a cool book nonetheless. Zach will give you more information on it, though.
They would have asked our opinion about it. The movie would have been amazing.
He doesn't have any powers. No powers.
Yeah. So, prices a year ago for this Sabretooth Fantastic Book battle cover was $230 in the 9/8. Now it's $126.
Ooh.
Range 94 to 341. Average sales 151. It's a 45% drop. You can get this book near mint condition for as cheap as, sometimes cheaper, $15.
Whoa!
Which is crazy. There's 350 total graded. 113 of them are 9.8s. That's only 32% of total grade.
Real close.
Pretty close. This book is something you want to keep an eye out for, especially if you know it's going to potentially get a 9.8, because there's some big returns you could get off of this. I mean, it sounds not as good, like double your money, but this book fluctuates so much. I mean, you could almost triple your money in some cases on this.
I like that.
You'd almost triple your dang money.
That meets the code.
That does meet the code.
All right, guys. And if you made it to the end, we got the number 1 dropped book in the world in the March here of 2024. It happens sometime. This is a big surprise, and I don't quite understand why this book is as cheap as it is, or I feel like it should be way more expensive. Maybe you guys can let me know what was going on back in this time period. But Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the 1/2 edition from 1999. And the artist on this is Tim Bradstreet. Various other writers took over on this one. And yeah, I didn't realize till checking in a little deeper on this. This is an original 15-page story.
Oh, cool.
So it's not a retelling of something that happens in The Phantom Menace, which a lot of Star Wars books do that. They'll just retell you what happened in the movie. So usually they'll give you a little bit of extra information, but this is an original 15-page story.
Oh, cool.
It does have a preview sketch of Darth Maul, which I think is really cool. He is a big fan favorite character. I'd say like almost as popular as Boba Fett at this point, maybe even more depending on who you talk to. But this is first appearance of Anakin Skywalker, first appearance of Zach's favorite Jar Jar Binks, first appearance of Padme, and first appearance of Qui-Gon Jinn. So some pretty major first appearances, although Darth Vader's real first appearance is in Star Wars 1 from 1977, which kind of is the same person as Anakin. It is the same person, just, dark side version. And I don't know if I personally prefer the adult version of Anakin over the kid version. So in this, you kind of get the first appearance of the kid version. So it's sort of a different person as well. Depends on how you look at it. But what makes these really interesting to me is the only way to obtain this book was to send in a mail-in coupon from Wizard magazine from issue 94, which we've run across that a lot. There's a whole bunch. At a certain point, almost every single issue had a mail-in comic book where you got like a book back from Wizard, then they had like a COA attached to it, which told you the print count and all kinds of stuff. And this was never on a shelf. You always had to like mail in and get it. And it surprises me that like so many people did that. I would think almost all of these books would be hard to find, but I'm imagining all the comic stores must have cut them out and just sent them in, because hardly any of these Wizard halves are worth any kind of money, which is strange. And they're easy to find too. So I don't know, it just boggles my mind, because I remember being younger and maybe it's just my parents would never have let me like send this stuff in. They'd be like, no, you don't need to do that. Send something in to get like a comic book through a magazine or something. They probably just didn't make any sense. Anyway, why was this hot a year ago? Well, for a bunch of reasons. 2 years ago, this book got exciting because we were finally going to get to see my boy Hayden Christensen come back and play Anakin Skywalker. And that happened in Obi-Wan Kenobi and some cool flashback scenes. Everyone knows he's the best lightsaber fighter as a real person as well as in the movie, he's the best lightsaber fighter. And that was cool flashback. We got to see him again in Ahsoka. Even better, got to showcase his lightsaber skills even more. He takes that really seriously. He has to. See him like swinging that thing behind his back. It was awesome. I was pumped. And we got to see him, and it went back down again. But still, it's an exciting book. I would love to get this in a 9/8 sometime. Also, Princess will tell you there is a gold foil one as well you want to look out for. I don't even know how you got that one, because if you had to mail in to get the other one, how did you mail in to get the gold foil? I don't even know. I want to know. But Zach will get you with the numbers.
Good questions. Well, it was getting serious a year ago. For CGC 9.8 for this book, it was selling for $180. Now, he was just sweet sauce. It was just not. It's not insidious. It was just like a little child anger tantrum. Now it's $80. Range is $47 to $157. Well, that doesn't make sense. $180. Average sale is 91. It's a 55% drop. You can buy this book raw for $10.
Ooh!
$10. So that might be on the nose. You might have to buy it, get great, and then sit on it. Hopefully you get closer to that 180 mark. But yeah, doesn't quite meet the code there. There's 233 total grade. 137 of them are CDC 9.8s. So apparently it's really easy to get this book in a 9/8 because 59% of total grade are 9/8.
I think they came pre-bagged and boarded, right?
Yeah.
Basically, like all those Wizard halves like came in that special Wizard bag.
Yeah.
Where it's like ready to go.
And it's very firm.
Yeah,
too.
very nice bag. Yeah, like I even don't like taking it out of those. When you get them later, you're like, I'm just gonna leave it in that bag, even though it's like 20 years old. Yeah, so exciting list. Good way to think about maybe how to make a little extra money slabbing your comics. Just be very careful. What we've learned from our mistakes, we watch any of our old videos of slab unboxings. Definitely pre-screen 9.8s on anything modern. these days. Prices are not what they used to be. Used to be you could sell a 9.6 modern book. Not so much anymore. You can, but it's not, you don't nearly get the return as you would with a 9.8. So spend that little bit extra, protect yourself, do the pre-screen. So we're here at the end of the show. What's your book of the week, Zach? What would you go after?
It has to be the Spectacular Spider-Man 116 in a 9.8, of course. Only in a 9.8. And if you can, get it signed and remarked, because that makes it extra special. I think this book has a lot of potential, a lot of volatility in a good way, because you can buy it for $15, pay 30 something bucks, be in on it for $50 ish, depending, and sell it for, what did I say, $126. But I think this book is gonna pop up to $200 range, drop quickly. So this is a very great book to sell when it goes on the high, and then buy the raws on the low, and wash it, mix it, wash it. But remember, when you do stuff like this, send them to get graded, and you make sure your books are nice and clean, tight. You can't send like 20 copies unless you pre-screen, of course, which you might want to do. But you send 20 copies, and probably the same person, same 3 people potentially, are going to be looking at the same books over and over again, and they're going to be judging each book against the other. So you might get a book that might have got a 9.8, might be a 9.6, and they put it back in the bag. This one, 9.2, got a 9.8. It's going to be all over the place. And I don't think you're going to be getting very, good gains by doing that. So you might have to pick like 10 different books with the same kind of potential amount of gains that you're going to get, and send it in a care package to them, and just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever give them too much information to work with.
Yeah. Don't let them compare each of the same book with each other. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, that wraps up the drop list for this week. As always, do us a huge favor. Stop what you're doing right now. Hit the like button for the princess, because she loves it so much when you do that. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear who you think should be playing Batman in the upcoming DCU, or who you don't think should be playing Batman. That works too. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. And also let us know how other ways you could make money slabbing comics, or if you think slabbing comics is a bad idea. Sometimes I'm leaning that way every once in a while. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anything else, Zach?
Yeah, sure. How you do this? You gotta go to the store, buy all the amenities, buy the little scrubbers and all that. Grab the right soap and shampoo, and sometimes, guys, you just gotta take a long, hard shower, because sometimes you don't get those gains, and you gotta wash it off. Just wash up. Take a shower, guys. Do it.
Start anew.
Wash it off.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
get the scrubbing gains.
Get them.
Every single one.